And I think it's a nice way of improving as well when you see the mistakes and.
Yeah. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, guys.
We need video, Sarah.
Your placement looks great.
I want to see you doing push-ups.
Is anybody downstairs?
Our Toastmaster might be downstairs.
No, our Toastmaster is Joanne, and she's working from home.
Oh, that's right.
Is anyone waiting down in the lobby for people?
Do you mind checking, please? Thank you
Did my thing not work at all?
What is your thing?
Yvonne, if you want to film it, you can just record the WebEx.
Yeah, I'm already recording the WebEx. Oh,
okay.
By the way, full disclosure, we're recording this.
Thanks for the heads up.
I don't know if that's required by law in Colorado, but I'll just have to cover my bases.
You have nothing to hide.
I know audio recording is legal without consent in Colorado.
Really?
Yeah, except you have to be a party of the conversation. So you can't put a bug in the room that you're not in, but you can wear your own wiretap and
I love it.
whatever it's called, a wire. Yeah, wear your own wire.
Okay, so
Even now.
we have
Oh shit! Joanne started a different WebEx. All right, Joanne. I will join your WebEx.
No, I am ready at your WebEx.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why Joanne created her own WebEx.
Okay, I will leave that one. Well, leave this one. And what happened with Sarah Jolie? So that's the thing. If we are 4 people here and there's one there, it's easier to bring Joanne to this one.
Yeah. See if Joanne can join, right? I mean, I don't know if you can do a dual WebEx, but I'm going to try to find out.
We think put it 2 WebEx together.
No, I'm just going to see if Joanne can join ours. Do you have Joanne's phone number?
What we got today?
No one waiting there. Oh, we have a lot of people in the WebEx. We have Sarah Jolie, we have Joanna. Wonderful.
This is extremely slow. Oh, great. Oh, good. Joanne's at least not in her own room. So she may have maybe having difficulties connecting.
Did you send John your thingy?
I did, yeah. Well,
You got me to the whole group. Do you want us to join that one?
Say again?
Joanne sent out her WebEx to the whole group. Do you want us to
I
hop off
joined her
and join
WebEx and she's not in it, so
okay.
I was in 2 WebExes at the same time briefly, which was the first time I've ever done that. So I guess I can use this little bit of time to present our distinguished President's Club ribbons from last year.
Love it.
There it is.
Now your responsibility to take the 2019-2020.
Yeah.
Alex
So,
for 2020.
we have to figure out how to sew it onto the banner, which here is pretty easy, but wow, it's definitely. Let me see if I wonder if I plug in, if it'll just kill our entire thing. Well, we're about to find out.
Who all is in the room?
So it's Nathan, Mark, me, and Yvonne.
Oh, good group.
All right, I put on our. Is it Sarah? Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. All right, I just switched my internet connection to something a little faster. So I guess we should probably get started.
Yes. Silence, please. Nathan, stop using your cell phone. Have a little bit of respect for your coworkers. Thank you. We don't have any guests. Anyone needs to leave early?
We're all going to leave
No.
early.
No, yeah.
Okay, now without further ado, let me introduce our Toastmasters for today. Is Joanne, but we don't have Joanne. So I guess Alec, our president, is our...
This is a blowing snowstorm. Is our this is a blowing snowstorm, and the is All right. Well, hopefully Joanne can make it, and maybe she's got some prepared remarks that she can share with us.
Almost every she's talking today.
Stops having technical difficulties.
What was her topic? Halloween.
It was Halloween.
Okay, Alec, I think you can speak a little bit about Halloween. A little bit of facts. You're American. So.
Halloween. So this is pretty interesting. When I was growing up, everybody was really cynical, and I always said, oh, it's going to snow for the first time on Halloween, because everybody has their costumes, and they all want to go trick-or-treating, but not everyone's costume is highly insulating and good for snowy weather. So a lot of the times you end up with people who are wearing, like, really, really not very substantial costumes, and it's freezing cold, and then their parents make them wear their winter coat over their costume, and they're super, super upset because now nobody can even see their costume, but at least they're not going to freeze to death. So anyway, people get used to having their Halloween ruined by snow, so whenever people guess when the first snow of the year is going to be, they always guess Halloween, because Murphy's Law says it'll happen on the day you least want it to happen. So this year we had, I think, 3 snows before Halloween, which is the most I've ever seen. And we also had no fall. It went straight from summer to being, yes, it's Joanne.
You're going to stop now.
I'm just telling you. Well, wait, is Joanne, can you hear me? Oh, am I on mute?
Yeah, just getting used to WebEx starting up on mute automatically, sorry.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm not on mute. The worst thing would be if I was. So I was just telling everybody about how it always snows on Halloween, and that makes people really upset. But since you're the real Toastmaster today, I guess I'll hand it over to you. Are you ready, Joanne?
I am. So I'm having connectivity issues.
So are we.
I see super pixelated stuff happening. I'm going to ask, okay, so I'm getting error messages, and I'll just apologize in advance for whatever is not going well here. Can you look for the slide deck that I sent? I'm not sure whether it's going to be faster or easier for you to show the slides, and I can go through them. And sorry, I'm getting like delay messages and intermittent ability to see what's going on in the WebEx. So
okay.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay. It's not good on our side either, and there's only 4 of us in the room, so.
There it is.
Sarah Jolie.
And Sarah
So,
Jolie.
you know, crazy because the weather can be dramatically different, 5 miles or 10 miles in any direction, right? And it's been kind of a roller coaster out where I live in a rural location, and my problem today is wind, which is an issue for my connectivity.
Right, that makes sense.
So anyway, I can try to take the ball, but honestly, it might be better if you kind of deal with it from there on site.
Yeah, I'm trying to share now, so I will when it'll take a second to catch up, perhaps, or maybe I'm doing the backwards.
So actually, I see kind of the opening slide. So I kind of rearranged the deck this morning, and I took that photo this morning. I just want to say I have a really good skull face, but I did not take time to put it on this morning. My original plan was to have my killer skull face. And you would not have recognized me, suffice it to say. And the eyeballs on my my 1800s hat are stunning, and they wiggle. And I'm just horribly disappointed that you cannot enjoy them in person. So anyway, welcome. And welcome to Toastmasters, October 29. And I did feel compelled to go with the Halloween theme. I will open with a couple of remarks about, a couple of personal remarks. So if you could go to the opening slide. Next slide.
All right, it'll be there eventually.
Eventually it will be there, which gives me a minute to say the following. I grew up hating Halloween. It was just the worst, like something to dread all year long. Hence, this slide is just a very personal slide, some henophobia. And I was not pathologically afraid of Halloween. I just hated it until I had 2 daughters, both of whom love Halloween, and they're hilarious. They have the best time every single year. They're incredibly creative and fun and silly and goofy, and so I have been on a journey, which includes the fact that my attitude toward Halloween has had to evolve over the years because of my 2 just lovely, funny daughters. I'm going to come back to Samhainophobia in just a second. Yeah, go ahead to the next slide. When I realized that October 29 was my date to be a Toastmaster, I was dismissive because I thought I am so incredibly old that I don't need to go look up the history of Halloween because I know it. Halloween was invented like before or after I was born, rather. And so I looked at photos like this, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool, and it reminds me of why I hated Halloween. Just a short anecdote here. My first Halloween that I can remember, I must have been like 5 or something. My mother dressed me up as a nurse, and I just like, that was like the worst part of my childhood potentially. To this day, I think I need therapy, that my mother would dress me up as a nurse. Like, look at these costumes. Are these not like ultra awesome, cool, amazing, And yeah, so anyway, it turns out that Halloween is actually older than me. Who would have thought? But it is true. So going back to the original, we'll come back to that later. Go back to the original slide about Samhainophobia. Samhain is a Celtic holiday that, depending on where you go, look up the holiday, is anywhere from 2,000 to 6,000 years old. Slightly older than me, but not by much. And the thing which I appreciate about having looked up Samhain is that it was sort of a celebration, but also a reckoning with that boundary between life and death, that strange, blurry place that we all sort of, I think, wonder about and at times have to try to come to terms with. And for that, I appreciate the marking of that season in our lives. And in addition, there's a tradition between the various cultures that have this type of fest or marking in the calendar. There are traditions of ghouls and spirits, and so of course we have many traditions that kind of blend and blur across cultures with ghouls and ghosts and spirits. And so this I respect at this point, and again, I'll thank my daughters for that. But I think now it's time for us to proceed. It's getting a little bit late in the hour already. It's best to proceed with the agenda for today. And I've noticed that there have not been people signing up for the roles. So I'm going to beg your help at this moment to see whether there are people present or on the call that can take roles for the helpers.
So since we have so few people, we might just want to do like a short meeting. And what do you think? Just a short meeting, get out of here. You know, we'll do Yvonne's speech, we'll do an evaluation, and then we'll do, Joanne can wrap up the Halloween remarks, and then we can call it a day. What do you think? Good? Yep. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so I think that we should do this. I will make a quick remark that I'm a little disappointed that we are missing the opportunity in terms of table topics. I had some ideas, everything from, Halloween pickup lines to Halloween jokes, whatever. So it could have been pretty fun, but I agree. We need to.
I want to listen to Mark in table topics.
Joanne, how about you sign up for Table Topics Master next week, and you can do it then.
It's a good idea.
Oh, Halloween will be so last month next week.
I think Halloween pickup line sounds great and timeless.
We'll work on that, but in the meantime, let's proceed. I think, Alec, you're right. And Yvonne, we've put you on hold now for a whole week, so let's proceed with that, and then we'll figure out how the best way to conclude and do the right thing for the club meeting after Yvonne's speech.
I need an evaluator.
So, I've done quite a few evaluations lately. Does either of you lovely people want to sign up?
For what?
For being Yvonne's evaluator? Because I think, Sarah, you said you didn't want to do it, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Nathan?
Not today.
Not today. All right, guys. I'll do it.
You're killing me.
It's killing me.
Thank you, Alec. You're welcome.
Were you bumped last week? I thought you took yourself out of the rotation.
Yes, I forgot that I have the training, a smart sheet training, and was from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we spent all day in the train.
Hello, everybody. Soon, Yvonne will be doing a speech entitled "The Environment and Me," which is a pathway speech of which pathway are you working?
Mastery of presentation.
Mastery of presentation. Are there goals for this one?
Yes, using software to help to aid with visual aids.
All right. So I will write that down, and let's all give welcome to Yvonne.
Thank you for that warm introduction. Today my speech is about my relationship with environment, and I divided this presentation in three main parts. The first one is called the beginning. And you may wonder, the beginning of what? The beginning of my realization that environment needs protection. That happened when I was very young, about 6, 7 years old. My father, who is a teacher in high school, brought a magazine from Greenpeace. And I was fascinated by that. I was reading every piece of an article about how to reduce contamination, how to save the whales, or how to save water. For me, that was very important. So when I was brushing my teeth, I stopped running the water so I can save a few gallons every single day. That was very important to me because, as you may know already, I was born in Lanzarote. It's a very, very dry island. And the amount of water available for the population is very limited. So yeah, I guess that this phase I could be myself like a Greta. I remember giving a speech in my school about how to protect the environment when I was like 10 years old. And I remember looking at data like this one about how much people we waste per person per country. And I saw a huge amount of improvement. Take a look how much water people from the United States were using compared to us in Spain. So I thought, wow, if we could convince people from the United States to start saving water, we could be saving billions of gallons of water per year. However, a few years later, I moved to a different phase that I like to call the inevitable. I would like to go back to my island. My island is divided in 7 counties, and I would like to play like a mind game with you today. Imagine that the mayor of Tias, my county, decides that the higher priority is protecting the environment. He's not going to allow building any more houses or hotels, and he's going to be focusing the resources in just save the beaches and try to save them. On the other hand, the mayor of Yaiza, the most southern county, goes through the opposite route. He decides to create new hotels, new houses, and try to bring as many tourists as possible. Who do you think is going to win the elections in 4 years' time? Mark?
Yaza guy.
Yes. And why? Because everyone loves progress. More houses being increasing the population, more hotels implies more jobs for everybody, more tourists, more money, higher salaries, more taxes for the county so they can create new schools, better roads, new hospitals. So this progress is a win-win for everyone, apart from the environment. This is a picture of Yaiza before and after. And this is very heartbreaking, because if you remember, I was trying to save a few gallons of water every time I brush my teeth. However, now we have 50,000 more people living in my island, so the amount of water that we need has increased, no matter what. I thought maybe this happened in my island because we are living in the paradise. Every single person wants to live in my island. Until I saw this chart. This is the human population growth in the last years. I remember when I was younger, reading that the population was 5.5 billion. A few years after, we are already at 7 billion. What this implies? That we have to make a more intense use of our resources, treating very poorly and very unfair a lot of animals. We are destroying the forest, taking all the resources, depleting our oceans, But some people still have hope. For example, my wife, she's convinced me to start using metallic straws so we can reduce the amount of plastic. However, when I see videos like this one, I kind of lose hope. I try to save a few pounds of plastic, and in other parts of the world, there are rivers running with plastic through the ocean. And this is just a tiny example in South America. The problem in Asia is way worse. So that's the world that we are giving to our children. I'm sorry that the conclusion of my speech is so dark, but I can only say that Smith was right. We are a plague. We are a virus that is destroying our host, and our host is planet Earth. Going back to the same chart, this is our main problem for the future. It's not an easy problem to solve. China already tried to reduce the number of children to 1 and didn't work very well. And you have to remember that this is with Africa completely isolated with war, malnutrition, and diseases. If for any reason we could just go there and magically solve all Africa problems, we will be 10, 12 billion in a few years' time. But I know that Sarah Yol is listening to me, and I try to decide to include some little light of hope at the end of my presentation. And I say that the key is Elon Musk. He will hold the key to the future of the human race, moving to a different planet. For example, this picture is his idea of a base in Mars. But I have a question for all of you. Do we really deserve another opportunity? Thank you. I cannot hate Joanne.
Well, that was a very dark speech. Oh, all right. Well, sorry.
So shall I jump in and say a couple of things?
Wait, is this Joanne?
This is Joanne.
All right.
As the Toastmaster, I'm not sure. I think at this point I would be jumping in and giving the evaluator a few seconds to prepare their remarks. And also, I would be making a response to this absolutely amazing speech. Thank you, Yvonne. You are a kindred spirit. The functional group I work in today is sustainability. I would like to share stories with you at some point about conserving water. And also reducing impact. Your theme, well, in part, your theme has to do with despair and hope. So maybe this was the exact right day for you to deliver this speech. You know, we all deal with life and the dark side of it and our ultimate demise. And then, as I alluded to earlier, we go and we have children. So you've got a kid. You've got a bunch of skin in this game now about the future of this planet that maybe you could just shrug your shoulders about before you had your kid. So while I don't know who the speech evaluator is, but Alec, if you could, let's see, if you could go back to my slides, if it's possible to bring up, there's a slide of Regan.
All right, let's see here. So
look for Regan. There she is. All right. So I'm just going to say this. I loathe and despise horror flicks, and I refuse to watch them. I had a horrible childhood experience at the age of 11. A classmate of mine was disappeared. And it marred my childhood as well as those of us who knew him. And that is one of several reasons that I refuse to watch dark flicks and horror movies. However, we are not able to escape them. And although I have never watched, let's see, this one is, what's this movie? It's not Rosemary's Baby. Which one is this? Somebody help me.
Is that it?
Yes. That's it. So this is a piece of Halloween which is apt for Yvonne's speech. We take that which terrorizes us and we find a way to make it, we find a way to cope with it. And for that reason, I picked this particular dog costume. I think psychologically we need to make our way forward, knowing that there are potentially there are horrors around us, and there's despair around us, and somehow we need to vanquish those dark things with, if nothing else, a little bit of humor. So I'm just going to say I love this dog costume, and let's hear it for dog costumes. If you ever want to have like a little bit of fun and you've got 5 minutes, just Google Halloween dog costumes. It's a scream. It's just so cool. Anyway, so I don't know if I've killed enough time yet. You'll have to let me know who the evaluator is. I want to thank Yvonne again. That struck a chord with me, and I'm sure others. I don't know if we are ready to go forward with the report from the evaluator.
Yes. All right, I'm the evaluator, and are we sure we're not doing table topics? Do we want to? Okay. Yeah. These guys are like, no, I don't want to do anything. All right, that's great. I don't even want to do anything either, but here I am giving an evaluation. So, all right, Yvonne. So that was I wasn't expecting it to end on such a dark note, which I think is cool because there's a lot of sort of cheesy advice, which is like, oh, you have to end on an upper note, which you almost like mocked with how you put your presentation together. Well, I don't know if that was the intention, but to me it felt like the Elon Musk one and moving to Mars was just like an absolute mocking of the tradition of ending a depressing speech on a hopeful or uplifting note, because moving to Mars is not exactly a winning outcome, I would say, but others may disagree. I think but it's fun. It's a fun way to end the speech because I think your point was, this is really bad and we actually should care about it. So I'll talk about your using software for visual aid, because that was the goal of the speech. The template that you picked, I don't know if that was a template or if you scratch built the theme of the presentation, but it's very like clean and the whole like stock photo thing was a little bit strange. Like I'm just personally very biased against using weird stock photos of people in the background for things that are not necessarily super related. Like on your population growth slide, you had the plot, and then on top of it, and then in the background there's this conference room table, and there was the model making a gesture like this. And this might be a personal nitpick, but I just do not particularly like stock photos in presentations. That unless the stock photo is a direct point that you're talking directly to the thing that's in the stock photo, as opposed to using it as a filler to sort of fill the thing. And then another thing I noticed that potentially was a mistake was there's a slide with a cow picture, and then on top of it there was a deforestation picture, but behind it was text, which was never visible. So it was sort of like the slide started with whatever text you put on it already partially covered with the photo. So that might be a failure to proofread or like go do a dry run through or something. I'm not sure. And the slide with the map where you talked about how the ISO went from being unspoiled to being completely developed. The photo was just sort of placed on top of the slide, which had a stock photo in the background, but it was just like the mixture between the slide theme with stock photos and your photos was a little bit clashing, so that could be improved. Otherwise, you did pick the right kind of photos, and I really like that you used the video for the trash one, which is rare in these presentations. I think that using a video is a really good way to spice things up, and it's not very commonly done. So kudos for that one.
And it was a smooth transition. It wasn't open YouTube, click on
right,
it.
Exactly.
I don't even know how you embedded
video in PowerPoint, which almost never works. My personal experience, I've never seen it work. And I've probably gone way over time, but we're not even running the timer today, so I qualify. Thank you very much.
I qualify for a vote that we're not doing it.
Yeah, I qualify for a vote that we're not
doing it. I'm going to win better later.
Yes. And I guess I am, are you the chairperson today?
Yes.
I'll like rush and post my notes from last week's meeting, and then that way Yvonne can post his after. All right, I'll hand it back to Joanne.
Adding my applause, both to you. So I'm just going to say that my video feed is super choppy, and so bear with me because I'll probably be lagging. Alec, you're terrifying. Maybe that was the intent and appropriate for today. I have to give, so I told Sarah I committed that I was going to do my icebreaker speech before the end of the year. Please, please, please don't be my evaluator. I'm disappointed that I couldn't be, there were sections in Yvonne's video that, were not tracking with me, and I just want to emphasize one more time my deep appreciation for what Yvonne is doing with this particular speech, and I'll probably have to catch up with Yvonne separately because I know there were chunks that either froze or got past me with the evaluation. So be it. This is WebEx and connectivity. I'm a rural guy. Sorry about that. I guess we are going to forego table topics because there's not an array of 24 people to volunteer, nor is there a table topics master. Although, we could sit around for 15 minutes and take turns telling scary stories. That was going to be one part of the theme today. If anybody knows any good, campfire ghost stories, because that's a big deal this time of year. So let me just say this. Alec, can you send a signal to all of us? I think there are 4 of you in that room, and then me and Sarah by WebEx. Is that the extent of the attendance today?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So as stellar as every single person in this meeting is, perhaps we should postpone some of the normal Seamasters agenda and and whatnot until next time. Although, so I don't want to waste one last riddle, which we all know. So everybody join in when I say, who are the werewolves' closest relatives? So here we go, 1, 2, 3.
Snoopy.
The why wolves, the what wolves, and the who wolves. Are we good?
Did you really think we would do that?
You guys all knew that. You guys all knew that. So maybe you're relieved, like, not to have to put up with more of that stuff for me today. But anyway. So, Alec, I will let you award the best speech ribbon, and I'll let you figure out the right way to bring the meeting.
Wait. So before that, we have to introduce our general evaluator for today, Mark. So please evaluate my evaluator. Don't call anything back.
Mark can present. Mark's the general evaluator, so he can present the awards for the vote counter. Who's the vote counter?
Yeah.
Sarah, you're the vote counter. Okay.
Let me call on reports first. Timer. Okay, we don't have a timer.
I just accused Yvonne was under 7 minutes.
Hey, Mark, what was the word of the day?
Alex disqualified because
the word of the day was attendance. No one used it, and no one showed up. I loved Yvonne's speech. It's one of the reasons that I joined Toastmasters is because of the things that I believe in the world. And the things that I believe in the world make you look like an optimist. That's how bad it is. So you got that to look forward to if I ever actually make a speech. Alex's review of Yvonne was harsh. I didn't even think it was that bad until Joanne pointed out that he didn't have anything nice to say. No, I thought you did a good job, and I also thought that running the WebEx was a little bit of a deterrent because we had the other screens around your. I made it hard to see. Surprisingly enjoyable meeting for the low attendance. I think you did a good job putting the WebEx together at the last minute and moving conference rooms and everything you had to juggle, becoming the only participant by doing his review at the last minute.
All right. Well,
thank you.
Do you want to present the ribbon for best speaker?
Do you want a ribbon?
I want yes.
Congratulations.
That's the most important part. Thank you, Mark.
Best reviewer.
Oh,
unless he went over. Did you time him?
I didn't.
He was disqualified.
So lucky. So lucky.
Okay. That's it for my evaluation.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for your time. That was
Wait, Joanne, are you done? Do you want to talk about other stuff in your slide deck?
Not necessary. I would just like to say one more time, Yvonne and Mark, shame on you. You have an obligation to be optimists because you are parents. Get on that.
That is awesome.
I heard this analogy once that if someone pulls a fire alarm in a building, you don't expect that person to both evacuate the building and then put out the fire.
I agree with Mark.
So I'm just the guy pulling the fire alarm.
Yes.
Someone else has to put out the fire.
And I'm the one pointing to a different planet and say we should move over there. So. I don't know, maybe having a
So anyway, so on you all.
not that bad.
Yeah.
What? What, Joanne?
I was just saying farewell because I love this planet and I'll be here putting out the fires.
So anyway, Joanne, I'm gonna share my presentation with the whole team because I guess that it was difficult to follow some of the slides with that kind of slowness.
Yvonne, you clearly need to join the green team.
I know, Sarah. That's the reason I agree with Alex. So a little bit of hope at the end. I was just hesitating and thinking I cannot end my presentation that Sarah Jolie is going to review in such a dark and negative note. So that's the reason I added the last slide, just for you.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
My pleasure. And yeah, feel free to talk to me if you think I'm completely wrong and there is hope for human race, because I will change your mind. Thank you so much.
Did you just say if you think there's hope, I'll change your mind?
Because there is not. At least not in this planet. Too late.
Think it's too late?
We are not moving to another planet. If you want to live in a place that is as dry and cold as Mars, go to Antarctica.
I'm from Lanzarote. It's like
Where are you from?
Lanzarote.
What the hell is Lanzarote?
It's like an island like Hawaii. It's like an island in Canary Islands next to Morocco, next to Africa.
Why do I think you're from Spain?
Because they belong to Spain.
Ah. But it's nowhere near there?
Sorry, it's not.
How far is Spain?
It's
Spain.
super far away.
Isn't it between Spain and North?
No, it's really far away from Spain. So we shouldn't belong to Spain. Geographically, we should belong to Morocco.
Oh, did you give him control?
He's just on the projector.
Yes.
Yvonne, I'm going to look up, I can't remember the name of the author, super famous guy who wrote the book